I'd like to welcome you to the Teach for the Bay number 5. My name is Hilary Dito, and I'm here with my wonderful colleague, Leslie. We're going to be talking about pre-apprenticeships in high school. So we'll get started there. I will put a link for the Teach for the Bay website. That's where you can go ahead and get the recording when we've processed it for this workshop. We will you can register, pre-register for more workshops, and see what else is happening over the next few days. And later I will have an evaluation that we would appreciate you filling out. So again, we are recording this for both you to go back and see if you'd like, show classes, partners, etc., or you may go to other workshops as well that you're unable to attend. So with that, we will go ahead and get started, and I'm going to pass this off to Leslie.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to go ahead and start to share our presentation. So let me get that full screen. Can everybody see the presentation okay? Awesome, awesome. So as Hilary stated, we are from the Contra Costa County Office of Education, and our presentation today is to go over the pre-apprenticeships that we support at CCCOE for our high school students. We are, in fact, a part of the BACC RJV Teach for the Bay Conference. This is number 5. So this is our title slide, and I want to make sure that we welcome everyone in. In the chat will also be a copy of this slideshow, as Hilary indicated. So this is us. We are Contra Costa County ROP, or Regional Occupation Program. We specifically support students in the Contra Costa County and their high school CTE programs, or Career Tech Ed programs. And so we serve within this education and early childhood education program 17 different high schools. So we're very happy to be here and a part of this initiative of the Vision 2030 Centering Teachers. So I kind of went over this a little bit, so I'm repeating a little bit, my apologies. But we support the high school programs. We're going to talk about the high school programs. Specifically, we're going to talk about the early childhood education sectors that we support. And we're hoping to inspire other high schools, as well as any adult partners that we have that might be on the call as well. And those adult partners can help, and we can help them connect with high schools and give them the opportunities to learn about ECE. We're actually presenting our Grow Your Own Pathway, and so it's a little bit of a joke to say that high school students can potentially grow in this pathway and in this program. So a little bit about me. I'm one of 3 college and career readiness coordinators for CCCOE. As I indicated before, I support the early childhood education and education pathways. What I also do is I support the East County regions. Those regions are Antioch, Pittsburgh, and Liberty Union High School District, which is Oakley and Brentwood, as well as Clayton Valley Charter. I also do counselor training countywide. And prior to coming to CCCOE last year, I spent 20 years as a high school administrator, as an assistant principal or a principal. And when I'm not working, I like to travel with my husband of 23 years this month, and my 3 children, 2 of whom are away at college, so I miss them. But I also like Major League Baseball. My personal team is not in the playoffs, San Francisco Giants, but that's okay. I still watch baseball, and I love cooking and eating.
And good morning, I'm Hilary. I'm the Director of College and Career Readiness at the Contra Costa County Office of Education. What we do is we support the Contra Costa County Regional Occupational Program, which are CTE classes throughout 32 different high schools. 15 of our high schools have just started or have established EDU ECE pathways. So I've been in education for over 27 years. I started as a high school math and science teacher. I was assistant principal for several years, and then the STEAM coordinator here at Contra Costa County. I actually spend most of my time not working, chauffeuring my two teenagers around as they go to different events. But I do enjoy traveling and learning my French with Duolingo. What I do want to say is in December of 2022, we wrote a CAI grant, California Apprenticeship Initiative grant for the early childhood education pathway. And we were funded, and we've been starting that work with our districts, mostly in the West County, West Contra Costa County, and in the East with our two community colleges. And so we can talk about that as we are going through our presentation, but really also please interact. You can unmute, you can use the chat, but we would like to have discussions as we're going through the presentation.
Great, thank you, Hilary. And now that we're done with our introductions, we would like for you all to introduce yourselves in the chat. We would love to see who our audience is today. So if you could please type in your name, what school or program that you might be from, and what's your current role? Are you a high school student, a teacher, a college student, college professor? Are you from a community group? And that way we kind of know where we're at, who we're talking to, and who we're interacting with today.
And if any of you are watching this in a group setting, if you could let us know how many participants you have, the Teach for the Bay Committee would like to collect that data as well. So thank you.
Awesome. It looks like that we have a wide variety of wonderful participants today. And again, we really appreciate you and thank you for joining us today so that we can talk about our programs. And as you all are continuing on, so our objectives for this session today, what we hope to bring to you today is we hope that you get a greater understanding of the opportunities that high school students have, at least in the Contra Costa County regions and the areas that we support, but maybe give you creative opportunities to also connect with high school students as well. We also want you to understand what the advantages to taking these particular classes for after graduation, what that means to making our high school students more marketable and more employable for after high school. We all know that our job markets are tough and they're very competitive. And so we want to give as much opportunity to our upcoming graduates as much as possible. Also skills and training that you can use with this particular pathway and how you can take those skills to other job pathways. And we'll go over some of those as well. And again, as Hilary stated, if anybody has any questions, to feel free to unmute yourself, put it in the chat, whatever's easiest for you. And those that are joining, if you won't mind introducing yourself, your name, what program or school that you might be from, and what your role is. So opportunities for high school students. If high school students enroll in an ECE pathway, classes that might be at their school, either high school classes that are CTE elective classes or college dual enrollment classes. We will talk about both of those today. So the opportunities that high school students have is getting into those classrooms, right? Going into an elementary school, being a teacher's assistant, shadowing those particular teachers, getting that experience with students that is very marketable. And as we all know, or maybe don't know, as future educators or as current educators, your presenters know many years of being in the classroom, enjoying that time with students. The other experience that they get, an opportunity that they get, is on-the-job training. So for us, that might be during the school year going into those elementary classrooms, but it also might be in one of our centers over the summer, working with preschool students or even younger. We did have a student this last summer be in the infant and toddler program, and those opportunities are endless. Working with students, working with smaller children is very much a skill. And we really think that we have some very special high school students that get a chance to do that. Other opportunities, college credit, whether that is to enhance your transcript, enhance your resume, give you an early opportunity to transfer into a community college after high school, but that college credit can really help boost your transcript and your options as far as education. And again, working with children is a gift. It is something that is an amazing experience. And we really appreciate the fact that our students get that opportunity to work with trained individuals, either in preschool settings or early education settings as well. So again, we have a raised hand. Robbie Martinez, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, can you clarify one thing for me? Now, when it comes to having high school students in an educational program, like you say, let's say early childhood education, at the high school level, what is the district office that basically coordinates this? Is it career technical education, or is it a linked learning kind of coordinator? And if those two offices exist separately, how does that look across different districts? Are they separate? Is it the same person? What's the difference between, I imagine the difference for career technical education is that you get a certificate at the end, or you know what I mean? Or whereas like linked learning can just be like, job experience or work experience. So can you just discuss that differentiator?
Yeah, so for our programs, it's the career technical education pathways that we support. We support them in 14 of 15 industry sectors throughout the county with each of our different districts. That may be unique to other counterparts in other counties. But the Contra Costa County ROP does run run ROP programs. And there are, in addition to that, district programs, but all of our education pathway programs are running through our CTE departments. And so we do work with our students. We have A through G curriculum that the students will use that includes the California model standards, as well as these work skills embedded in those work experiences.
And just to clarify, for A through G, that's using elective
Mm-hmm. Yes, this one is an elective credit.
Or technical education.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as others, it'd be depending on that district and their relationship with whether they do have linked learning, whether they have other programs, but for us it is career technical education.
Thanks, Robbie. That was a great question. So with these 4 opportunities, this is your opportunity to interact with each other and interact with us in the chat. What do you think personally is your favorite opportunity for high school students of the 4 that are listed? or you might want to add your own. So in the chat, is it the on-the-job training that is your favorite? Is it the working with children? Is it the college credit that's your favorite, or the classroom experience? So put in the chat which one is your personal favorite professionally, and we're kind of going to do a little bit of a mini poll. Yes, OJT. Great responses, great answers. I agree with OJT as a CTE support person. I really think that the OJT kind of encompasses all of these different things, the classroom experience, the training and the understanding from the college credit, and the working with children, and then really elevating it to the next level. Thanks everyone for participating. We really love it. And our next slides. So what are the advantages? I don't know about you all, if you have high school students or you work with high school students, kids want to know, okay, what's the deal? What's the big deal about this program, and what are the advantages? So as we market and we sell this program, we talk to students about what the advantages are. Again, we talk about those extra credits for college. For some of them, they're going to be able to enroll in their first year of college midway through first year, so it gives them an advantage. They don't have to be the last people to register. Certifications, and Robbie, thank you for mentioning that. The certifications that our students get can be anything from trainings. If you're a teacher, you work with students, you have to do things that make you a certified teacher, whether that is training for child abuse prevention or sexual harassment, anything from CPR and first aid, or that knowledge base that you're getting. Work experience. Everyone just identified, or most of the people identified, that on-the-job training was very important. How many of our students don't actually get a chance to work before they graduate? And this is something that can be put, there's supervisors that they're going to work with, or supervising teachers, and taking that work experience and really taking it to the next level for them, or going to their local community college and working in their child centers would be great as well. For us, a pre-apprenticeship or apprenticeship program, because we do offer both in our county, gives our students higher wages and job opportunities. And we'll talk about some of those certifications as well. Okay, time to interact again. Oh, sorry, Robbie, go ahead. You have a raised hand.
Yeah, hand is back up. I have a lot of questions for you.
No
Okay.
problem.
So when it comes to the career technical education aspect of it and sort of the on-the-job training, are they able to earn a wage that's on, that's on par with the staff that's already working there? And one of the reasons I mentioned this, maybe you can address this, is that, career technical education can be very attractive to students that, might otherwise, leave school to work in order to help support their families. And I'm wondering if that's something that's actively acknowledged when it comes to developing these programs in a way that pay equity is a key component.
So I won't say that while they're doing their on-the-job training in high school that they are making equal money to their counterparts, because they aren't yet certified. This is what we're talking about is a pre-apprenticeship program. And so the on-the-job training that they are receiving, if they are apprentice, is minimum wage or slightly above. But what we're talking about with the higher wages and the job openings is after they graduate, the 12 units, if they're an apprentice, or the 6 units, if they're a pre-apprentice, can then give them that opportunity to apply for either an associate teacher permit or an assistant teacher permit, having them be able to have that opportunity to get that job better than their peers, right? At a step above from their peers, because they're coming in with these marketable skills and certifications and so forth. And then, yes, they would be able to come in with their counterparts that are mainly adults, right? And be at that same level as far as wages are concerned.
And in addition to the program that we have, so we're the CTE part of the county office. We actually have worked in partnership with our youth services, which serves our opportunity youth, and they actually now have a COIA grant for apprenticeships for the opportunity youth, both pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship in the ECE field. So those students, so, you know, the McKinney-Venta students could actually be stipend to do all this program, their classwork, being in the center. And I believe it's about $6,000 as they complete different levels that they would earn, that we can't pay because our grants won't allow us to pay. So our centers have to pay, but they're, as a pre-apprenticeship, actually, those students can earn some money.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for asking so many questions, Robbie. This really gives us a lot of good framework to talk about. So again, in the chat, what do you think as a budding teacher, as an educational professional, as a student? Put yourself in the high school student's shoes. In the chat, indicate what you think is the best advantage. If you were trying to convince a high school student to take this program, which would be your best pitch? So go ahead and put that in the chat. Extra credits for college, certifications, work experience, or higher wages and job openings. Let's see what y'all say about this one. Wages, certifications, all good things. A mix between wages and certifications, all of the above. Yes. You know, I should have put an extra blue button there and say all of the above. I could not agree with you more. So all really good answers. Specifically, we want to talk about what the skills are from the early childhood education classes. So by all means, our early childhood education classes, whether they're delivered as dual enrollment from our local community colleges or child development classes and early childhood education classes from our credentialed high school teachers, they learn the following: child development. Why is their brain working that way? Why is the baby crying? Why are they trying to stick everything in their mouth? All of those fun things and situations. CPR and first aid training. At the county office, we pay for a trainer of trainers. We also have CPR dummies that we shuttle around to different schools and school sites and school programs so that our students can learn how to do CPR and first aid training. Because again, those kiddos are putting stuff in their mouths or they're running around with something in their mouth, and how important it is for that type of certification to be with our students and with our programs as they're going to preschools and elementary schools and working with students. Soft skills. So we are a CTE program, meaning that we're going to give not only high quality curriculum and high quality work experiences, but we're going to give them some soft skills training. Some of our classes actually have our human resources department come and do interviews, and whether or not they're going to be hired by the YMCA of East Bay, who's actually one of our partners, or if they're going to be hired as maybe a paraprofessional or a campus supervisor in a school. Anytime that they can get experience doing interviews, doing resumes, doing letters of recommendation, and having that opportunity to talk to industry professionals and trained educators is very good. Viable work skills. Communicating with supervisors. So some of our pre-apprentices this summer had to communicate to a supervisor when they were sick and they couldn't come into work. Being able to follow a schedule, making sure they're filling out paperwork so that they can get paid, getting to know the supervisors, staying off of their phones. Ooh, big teenage thing, right? And so those are all the skills that if our students are able to be in these ECE classes, what they can bring to the table for their future and how to better their future. So again, in the chat, what do you think is the most important skill that our students can learn from these ECE programs? Is it the child development information? Is it the CPR and first aid training? Is it the work skills, learning how to not use your phone? Or is it the soft skills? Interviews, letters of interest, resumes, all of those wonderful, wonderful things. I see work skills. I hear that so much, and we hear that so much as a county office. Giving them that opportunity is really going to be beneficial and helpful for their future. Everybody doing okay so far? Just to check in to see if everybody's good. Robbie, you have any questions, or anybody else have any questions so far as we're moving along? Okay, great.
Hi guys, can I make a comment?
Absolutely, Monica, go ahead.
So I am that high school teacher who's teaching the careers in education class. And I just have to say about the work skills, one of in my class, I have, some 24 students. Not all of them are interested in becoming teachers, but I always tell them that's okay. You can still be part of my program because I'm still going to teach you how to work with children, because if I'm not making a teacher, maybe I'm making a really great parent. But one of our assignments is we put together a portfolio very similar to what a teacher might have to demonstrate their skills. And one of the things that goes into our portfolio is a thank you letter. And they absolutely hate writing the thank you letter. And we put it into our portfolio, and I tell them, set it aside. You never know when you're going to need it. But it's one of those things that they think is not of value. Like, why am I writing a thank you letter? It's not ever going to serve a good purpose. And there was just a study on the news that came out a couple of days ago that said that the thank you letter is one of the most important parts of the application process of going and getting that job. Because I tell my students, if you're competing with someone who's exactly like you, and a thank you letter comes across that interviewer's desk, it's going to put you right above that other person.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Or notify them, hey, not for this one, but let's make sure we reach out to this person in the future. But
exactly. So again, just we may not be creating teachers in all of our programs, but we are creating value. I shouldn't say valuable, because we're all valuable, but productive citizens in our communities. So those work skills are so important.
Monica, I should ask you to do the presentation, because I say this all the time whenever I'm meeting with my educators or I'm doing a PD. I say to everyone that this is the most important pathway that we have, because we are building educators, we're building people that you might not be a teacher, that you might not be, a preschool teacher, but that you can be a better parent, a better godparent, a better aunt, a better uncle. And that our job as educators is to create this better society of how to know and understand children. And that is such a huge, huge, huge goal, and a huge vision and mission and just mantra for us that I'm always, always, always talking about. No offense to my construction teachers and my auto shop teachers and my computer science teachers. They're all really important too. But I always tell my education teachers and early childhood education teachers, just as yourself, you are the most important in our minds. So thank you. Thank you for being here as well.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, Leslie, you got to be careful when you say my name and ask if I have a question, okay? Because you don't know me, but like I know I do. I always have a question. I will ask, since you mentioned, when it comes to certifications, what sort of community partnerships do you have to get certifications that are like related to research based community organizations? And I'm thinking like your WestEds, your RTI or SRI, things like that. Are you making contact with those sorts of organizations, or is it kind of like channeling a pathway into the community colleges?
So currently, and Hilary and I are both in our heads circling around going, "Ooh, those would be great things to add." So thank you, Robbie, for adding that, because those would be great certifications to have, like curriculum certifications and lesson planning certifications. We don't have those. But what we do have are some of those other things that we talked about, the CPR, and so forth. We do work with the YMCA of the East Bay. Sometimes within their programs, they have educational opportunities and certifications that come with being employed there. But do we have room for growth? Absolutely. And so I really love your ideas.
I bet
oh,
working, I just say, like, I bet working with, I bet people at West Ed would be really interested in working with a career technical education cohort of high schoolers going into early childhood education. It's such a unique dynamic that it's worthy of their research to just have that conversation,
Yeah.
you know?
And I definitely agree on that. One thing we do with our CTE programs is we do digital badging through Canvas, used to be Badger, and we do have a lesson planning badge. So the teachers will do a lesson planning unit, and those students who complete that successfully will get that for their portfolio, mock interviews, etc. So we're building that out, and we then also partner with, in our agency, we have our early childhood, the LPC folks, as well as the California Preschool Initiative Network, CPIN. And so we do some work with them as well to do that. But and our teacher induction program. So we have a lot of different county office employees that we bring in as guest speakers, and we presentations. We had a student education conference actually last week, attended by 100 high school students, where there were breakout rooms from those people as well. But yes, thank you.
And Monica, yes, we work with our districts as well, and our high school classes to do the same types of Keenan trainings. Sometimes we get that look, right? Because we know that we all have to take it every single year. And I don't know how many times I've taken the child abuse training, but yes, we advise them to do those trainings as well. They're good trainings and good certifications to have. So Monica, you led into this slide so well. We encourage students that are also in other professions or looking into other professions to take the early childhood education or education pathways that we have within our county office. And so other jobs where these skills are also very useful, besides us just creating amazing human beings that are going to be better people in our society and treating children better, are nurses, our dentists, our psychologists, therapists, and coaches. So all of those professions we really feel can be very useful. And we have a lot of students that say, I'm going to be a speech and language pathologist. I think I should be in this pathway. And we look at them and say, you absolutely should be in this pathway, and you absolutely should get those early childhood education units. So 100%. And so because I'm now feeling the room and getting that positive vibe from Monica, I'm not going to ask you guys which job you think is going to be the best, because I really think that all of these jobs are also very important. But I will share.
I'm sorry, I got to chime in one more time because this will
Go
make
for it. Go for it.
So I have that same conversation with, again, my kids who don't want to become teachers, but I tell them you'll probably end up in a job that will involve children of some way, shape, or form. And they'll be like, well, what about a mechanic? And I'm like, well, hey, you got to teach those families how to buckle in those car seats properly. So I'm always kind of reaching out there trying to find ways that they may involve children. This year, I had somebody stump me for the first time in the years that I've been teaching this. And they said, how about a pole dancer? And I said, I think you got me there. I'm not sure how a pole dancer would, involve children, but hey.
I'm sure that collectively we could think of a creative answer, but right now you just stumped me too.
Yeah,
Monica.
we're not going to go down that road.
So thank you so much for your questions, but again, wonderful, wonderful feedback, and we will move on. So we
Okay.
have two pathways. So Robbie, I promise this is gonna give you a little bit more context of kind of where we at our, as far as our CTE programs go. So as Hilary indicated, we are the recipients of a pre-apprenticeship California Apprenticeship Initiative grant. That's a mouthful. And we also have the apprenticeship grant, which is also from a California Apprenticeship Initiative grant as a county office. So our apprenticeship versus our pre-apprenticeship, it's not easy for students. I really want to put that out there, that sometimes things can be tough. We know things are tough in schools right now with teacher shortages, credentialing issues, and so forth, which is why we want to try to help with that. So our apprenticeship that we currently have, most of these programs that we're talking about are for 11th and 12th graders. Sometimes they can start in 10th grade and get themselves a little bit of an advantage with it, which we think is great. But 12 units of dual enrollment in ECE, 150 hours of OJT, or that equates to 50 days of 3-hour blocks of that OJT, and that they would graduate with a diploma and apply for an assistant teacher permit. Okay. Again, not easy things to do. We are experiencing our own kind of conundrums of this kid didn't pass this class, or this kid forgot to take this class, and we're trying to do some makeups, and summertime is great to do that. But if they're also trying to do their OJT, are there enough days within their summer break? And we're juggling all of those. And I also will say, of the 17 schools that we work with that have either apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship programs, each program is different and offers it in a different way, in a different order, and in a different title. So Robbie, I see your camera's on. What kind of question you got?
I'm unmuted. I'm unmuted at this point. So I have a question here, because we have a huge, like, massive change coming up in early childhood education with the PK3 credential. Who in the career technical education world at the county and or district level is working with the California Department of Education or the Commission on Teacher Credentialing to develop a workforce pipeline or pathway for the apprenticeship programs that you're talking about, so that we can have those thousands and thousands of teachers that we need in like a year, right? And then at the same time, given universal pre-K is rolling out, and that's what we're talking about in terms of the numbers we need, our career technical education programs geared toward filling those roles at large district schools, or are they working with like anybody in the community that's a taker, such as like family home care environments, right? Center-based environments. Like, is there kind of like a priority toward the upcoming need at the large district level that's being recognized or prioritized because of this like tsunami that's coming our way?
So for the credential piece, again, at the county office, we have our HR and we have credential experts. And in fact, one of the breakout sessions last week was our HR team saying, here's the different credentials you can get for the students. We also have in our early childhood education, Equality Matters, and a credential expert just for early childhood education who actually processes the various credentials. So we pull on those experts that are right here in our county office, and similarly, other county offices have those roles to support that piece. We are asking our EDU pathway teachers to have their students identify the ones that may want to work with the littles and make sure that they're placing them in their high school internship piece that they do, where they go and work at schools in the TK K classrooms as much as they can, so that they're getting actual hours that can then transfer to build on their certificate. So we're collecting that, then they would be able to enter the apprenticeship program.
So a clarifying
Yeah.
question, 100% of the credits earned in the apprenticeship occurs at the district in-house.
It depends. Again, we have different models. So I have schools that don't have the apprentice piece set up with our college yet. I have 3 colleges in Contra Costa, and one is still working on how they would support an apprentice model. 2 of them are doing apprenticeships. So my high schools in the corridor for that one college cannot right now officially do an apprenticeship model. But they can take, so we're offering them concurrent enrollment opportunities to get 6 units, articulation, other ways, so that they get 6 units. And then they'd be able to go to the 2 other colleges with their 6 units, with whatever hours they did at their district, and say, I want to be an apprentice now. And so they can continue that. So that's one. I have 2 districts that are actually implementing the apprenticeship model. And those students are, most of them are at the YMCA, because that's our biggest partner, but we do have some other placements for them, and they're not at the districts for those placements. Most of them are at, community-based organizations.
Do you think in the future there'll be a change where more students are directed toward the district rather than a YMCA?
I don't think more, I just think opportunities that we're looking to embrace and be able to say, we have placements that we can put you, here, so that we can place as many students as we can. So, I do know some of our districts are looking at how they could use their own programs for the on-the-job training as well. So there's, they're exploring. Last year was our very first year rolling the apprenticeship piece out. So lessons learned, and we're still adjusting, but we're looking at the different ways to grow that.
And Robbie, to add to that, the difficulty that our districts have with employing students is that many of them can't employ high school students until they're 18 and after they've graduated. So we are really looking at internships versus on-the-job training, and that can be very, very difficult for districts unless they start to change some of those policies. And if they do, then great, we're going to be all for it, and we'll be looking at having them in summer school programs and childcare programs as well.
So they can work out of the district with the same population for earning district credits, but they can't work in the district for the exact same credits?
We're also talking about pay too, right? When you talk about on-the-job training, districts typically don't have the opportunity to pay high school students. And so that's what makes things very difficult. And that's where, thank goodness, we have the YMCA come in, that they were able to do different grants to pay students this summer.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So then the other portion that we did have that Hilary just talked about very briefly is the pre-apprenticeship program. It is easier for high schools to credential and have credentialed teachers teaching in an education pathway versus an early childhood education pathway. If you think about it, typical high school teachers don't typically come into teaching high school through early childhood education. Some do, they do exist. We have a few, but some of them have the child development or child psychology backgrounds, and they're able to do early childhood education courses. So as Hilary stated, some of those students that are interested in working with the littles, that they can take concurrent enrollment classes that maybe it's one of those colleges or one of those schools that don't have a dual enrollment program, and that they can take the 6 units, apply for an associate teacher permit with their high school diploma after they graduate. And we hope that they continue on with their local community college, which is also like one of the big reasons why we like giving them those types of opportunities. Okay. Fun activities. These are actually some of our students in both corners of the programs that they actually worked at, the YMCAs that they worked at in their communities, very close to their homes. Sometimes students have transportation issues. And so these are some of the activities that they had a chance to do. So you see that in the bottom corner, there's a high school student that is crouching down to play with a very young child in a play structure, which is super cute. And I didn't ask her to smile. She's smiling at the little kid that's coming through the treehouse tunnel, which is adorable. And then at the top corner, we have one of our high school students blowing bubbles with one of our littles at the outside playground. I have to tell you, being a high school person, that it is so much fun to go see the littles, gives me so much energy. And then to see our students, their feedback, they talk about that. The students, and that's the bottom statement, right? They're so happy to see me. They like it when I'm here. They're excited to see you. And you can really build a difference there. So not only are our students playing, but they're also doing lessons. A lot of them, when they're in the elementary schools, are doing circle time and reading circles. Some of them are even working with programs that are dual language programs as well. Many of our students are Hispanic and speaking Spanish back and forth to our elementary school programs, which is amazing and awesome. Also helping children with skills that may seem hard for them. So grabbing something for them, teaching them how to do tying knots, bows, shoes, drinking, any of those kinds of daily skills that are really awesome that they get to help with and really understand from the courses that they took why in the child development it's important for them to learn those skills, which is also really great as well. Our partners. So we're going to give you some specifics about our partners, which schools we're working with, and what they're doing. So our apprenticeship programs exist at Pittsburgh High School, Richmond High School, and Hercules High School. The last two are in the West Contra Costa Unified School District. We have lots of potential for our high school pre-apprenticeship programs. So this middle list of the high school pre-apprentices are all of our CTE programs that we have. Again, reminding you that each one is a little bit different, does things in a little bit of a different way. So that's Antioch High School, Clayton Valley Charter High School, Freedom High School, Liberty High School, and Heritage High School. And that's in the Brentwood and Oakley areas. John Swett High School in Crockett, Alhambra High School in Martinez, Cal High School, Doherty High School, Monte Vista High School, and San Ramon High School, as well as Del Amigo High School in the San Ramon Valley Unified School District, and Ignacio Valley High School and Northgate High School in the Mount Diablo Unified School District. So lots of schools, lots of programs. Some of those programs also have multiple classes. So for example, Richmond High School has a program of about 100 students. Ask away, Robbie, go ahead.
Okay, I know this is going to be a huge problem, but because you're CTE, I'm going to ask you, why not Job Corps? Right? A lot of career technical education programs, that exist through this federal Job Corps initiative, right? Why can't early childhood education CTE be done through a relationship with Job Corps? Maybe not now, but in the future.
So my experience in Job Corps is that education and early childhood education pathways aren't offered in Job Corps. And a lot of our students, because we are college and career readiness coordinators and directors, that we do have that piece of dual enrollment. So personally, from the college career department and from a county office, we're happy to work with a partner like Job Corps, but that isn't something that's within our scope of the grants that we apply for to pay for these programs.
Yeah, I got it. It would take like a massive change in legislation to add a new program to Job Corps.
Right.
but I'm wondering if it's not worth the effort, given the need.
Yeah, our approach was to take the things that we already have and to help build. So additionally to the CAI grants, we have some K-12 strong workforce grants in round 5 and round 6, where we did an EDU pathways, and that's where we expanded our programs at some of the other schools. So for instance, Richmond and Hercules just started teaching EDU with us last year. So we've used those funding sources, but yeah.
So we're not opposed to it, but it's not anything that's been broached and come to our area. So
It doesn't exist yet, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And then last but not least, I wanted to give a shout out to our college and community partners. So currently our apprenticeship programs do reside within the Los Medanos Community College and the Contra Costa Community College. Diablo Valley is our third community college that does offer some summer classes for us, but they are not fully embraced in the apprenticeship program yet. And I do say yet with my fingers crossed that they'll join us soon. Again, we talked a little bit today about the YMCA of the East Bay being our partners in crime and giving us opportunities to train our students, connect with our students, support our students, and being that on-the-job training program. And then last but not least, and for those of you that have this opportunity as well, we have an intermediary that we work with. Again, Hilary and I being high school folks, having high school backgrounds, when we jumped into the pool of ECE, there was a lot for us to know. So we work with ESEPs, which is Early Care and Education Pathways to Success. And they are a great partner with us, do a lot of training, a lot of community advising, and a lot of support for us in their boot camps and in working with different partners, connecting us with the right people and making sure that we're doing the right things. So we're very happy to be with them and support them. And ESEPs is new to high school, so we kind of get to be an exchange partner of giving them the high school information and then them giving us the ECE information. So we are at the end of our presentation for the most part. We're happy to answer more questions from Robbie or anybody else that might be on the call. Hilary has put in the chat our evaluation as well. And we also have shared the slide deck too. We also have our information. If you have more questions, that is my office phone number there. My email address is listed first and then Hilary's. And we've really had a very enjoyable time connecting with all of you, even though you may not have had the same experiences, but we hope that you've learned something from us. We've definitely learned some things from you, and we just want to say thank you and that we appreciate you spending part of your day with us today. And then you'll see like a little dot.